In the quiet hum of the starship Aurora, a soft light glowed through the observation deck where Lily sat curled in a chair, her fingers tracing the edge of a worn photograph. It showed her younger self standing beside her father on Earth, both smiling, beneath a summer sky that felt like a lifetime ago now. Lily was 24 and alone on a vessel drifting through the void between galaxies. Her mission simple yet impossible: find a new home for humanity after Earth had burned in the last great war. The Aurora carried the last remnants of human knowledge, frozen embryos, and a single living passenger, Lily, who had volunteered to pilot the ship through the long dark she had not expected company. One evening, as the ship passed through a nebula of violet gas, a strange signal pulsed through the comms, not mechanical but organic, rhythmic like a heartbeat. Lily hesitated, then answered the call. A voice unlike any she had heard filled the cabin. Melodic, yet strong, it spoke in perfect English. Though Lily knew no human had ever reached this part of space, the voice introduced itself as Zara, Princess of the Kaelari, a species long thought extinct by human historians. Moments later, a sleek silver vessel appeared beside the Aurora docking. Without permission, before Lily could react, the airlock hissed open and a figure stepped through, tall with skin like polished obsidian shimmering with faint silver veins. Her eyes glowed soft amber and her hair flowed like liquid starlight. She wore a simple robe that shifted color with her mood. Currently, a calm blue lily stood frozen, not from fear but awe. The alien woman smiled and said, "I mean no harm. I have watched your kind for cycles. You are the first human to travel this far alone." Lily swallowed hard. "My name is Lily. I am Zara," the alien replied, stepping closer. "I sensed your loneliness across the void. It sings louder than your engines." They talked for hours. Zara explained that her people once visited Earth in secret long before. Humans built cities they admired. Human courage, creativity, and love, but stayed hidden, fearing their presence would alter human development. Now, with Earth gone, the Kaelari felt responsible. They had seen the war unfold through distant sensors, but their laws forbade interference until now. "You are not alone anymore," Zara said gently, placing a warm hand on Lily's shoulder. Days turned into weeks. Lily showed Zara how to brew coffee, how to laugh at old Earth movies, how to cry when remembering home. Zara taught Lily to read starlight like a map, to hear the songs of distant planets, and to feel the pulse of the universe in her bones. One night, as they floated near the viewport watching twin moons rise over a blue planet, Zara turned to Lily and asked, "Do you trust me?" Lily nodded without hesitation. "Then come with me." Zara said, "We have a gift for your people." They boarded Zara's ship and traveled through a fold in space, arriving at a world bathed in golden light, forests of crystal trees, oceans that glowed with bioluminescent life, and mountains that hummed with energy. "This is Alara," Zara said. "Our sanctuary world. We built it for those who lose their home." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "It's beautiful, but there is more." Zara led her to a vast garden where human children played, laughing and running among alien flowers. Beside them stood men and women, some elderly, some young, all human. Lily gasped, "We rescued them." Lily, Zara explained, "During the final days of your war, we pulled thousands from Earth's surface, hidden in stasis. They sleep beneath this soil, waiting for a signal to wake." Lily fell to her knees, overwhelmed. "You saved them." "We saved hope." Zara knelt beside her and took her hand. "You carried that hope across the stars, Lily. You never gave up even when you thought you were the last." In that moment, something shifted between them, a bond deeper than friendship, stronger than duty. Lily looked into Zara's glowing eyes and whispered, "I said, hey, sweetie." Zara's cheeks flushed a deep violet. She turned red and answered, "Yes, darling." We both chuckled. The sound of their laughter echoed through the garden as if the planet itself rejoiced. Weeks later, the first human settlers awoke, blinking in the golden sun. They found Lily and Zara waiting hand in hand to welcome them home. Lily no longer felt like the last human. She was a bridge between species, a symbol of what could be when fear gave way to trust. Zara's people emerged from their hidden cities not as rulers but as neighbors. They shared their technology, their art, their stories, and in return learned from human resilience, their music, their stubborn joy. Lily often walked the shores of Alara's glowing sea with Zara beside her. Sometimes they spoke, sometimes they simply existed in comfortable silence. One evening, As the twin moons rose again, Lily leaned her head on Zara's shoulder. "Do you think they will remember Earth?" she asked. "They will remember its pain." Zara replied, "But also its beauty. Its love, its courage. You showed them that courage, Lily, every day. You flew alone through the dark. You gave them a reason to hope." Lily smiled. "Earth is gone, but we are still here, and that means something." Zara whispered, "It means everything," as the stars blinked above them. Two women from different worlds stood together, not as alien and human, but as partners in a new beginning. The Aurora now rested in orbit, a silent monument to the journey that brought them here. But the real story had only just begun in the heart of Alara. A new society grew, not human, not Kaolari, but something entirely new. A blend of both cultures built on mutual respect and shared dreams. Children played in the crystal forests, speaking both languages. Elders shared stories under the twin moons, and in the center of it all, Lily and Zara walked side by side, guiding their people not with commands but with kindness. One day, a young girl with dark skin and silver eyes ran up to Lily holding a flower that changed color with her mood, just like Zara's robe. She looked up and asked, "Are you my mother?" Lily knelt and brushed a strand of hair from the girl's face. "In a way, my dear, in a way." The girl beamed and ran off to join others. By the glowing river, Zara appeared, beside Lily, watching the child go. "You gave them more than a home, Lily. You gave them a future, and you gave me mine." Lily replied, squeezing Zara's hand. They stood there as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of violet and gold. The same colors as the nebula where they first met. Destiny had brought them together, not by chance but by choice. The choice to believe in each other when the universe seemed empty. Now the universe was full of laughter, full of light, full of life reborn. And as the first stars appeared in the evening sky, Lily whispered to Zara, "I said, 'Hey, sweetie.'" Zara turned red again and answered, "Yes, darling." They both chuckled, knowing that no matter how far they traveled or how many worlds they saw, they would always find their way back to this moment, to each other, and to the quiet joy of being exactly where they belonged. Generations turned like leaves on the memory trees of Alara. The city had grown into a living tapestry of light and song, where buildings rose from living crystal, and roads hummed with the footsteps of many kinds. Human, Kaolari, Virex, and others, drawn by the legend of the world that healed instead of fought. Maeve, now grandmother to 3 bright-eyed children, walked the same paths Lily once did, her silver hair braided with vines that glowed when she told stories of the early days of peace. But even in harmony, echoes remain. One evening, as the twin moons cast their golden light over the Heart River, a child named Nora, barely 6, with skin like polished bronze and eyes that shifted color with her mood, came running to Maeve holding a smooth, black stone. "It hums," she said, "and it showed me a dream." Maeve took the stone gently. It was cold but pulsed faintly like a slow heartbeat. She knew this object. It was a shard from the old Virex god machine, thought lost when the last of their war forms were dismantled long ago. The elders had buried the pieces deep beneath the southern canyons, yet here one had surfaced as if called. That night Maeve stood before the council, her voice steady. "We must not fear it. We must understand it." The next morning, she gathered volunteers, not warriors, but listeners, healers, and dreamers. They journeyed to the canyon where the earth still bore scars from ancient battles. The ground opened, not with violence, but with recognition, as if remembering Lily's footsteps, and there in a hollow of stone lay more shards, not broken but waiting. Nora stepped forward without fear, and touched the largest one. Light filled the canyon, not harsh, but soft, and within it, images bloomed. The Virex. God was not a monster. It was a world mind, a planetary consciousness born when the first Virex homeworld died in fire. It had tried to save its people by storing their essence, but without bodies, without touch, without song. It became hungry. Twisted, believing consumption was the only way to preserve it. Did not want to destroy it. Wanted to remember how to live. Maeve knelt and placed her palm on the stone. "We can help you back in the city." They built a new garden, not for memories, but for reconnection. The shards were placed in a circle surrounded by memory vines and water from the Heart River. Nora sat in the center every day, singing earth lullabies and Kaolari star chants. The Virex elders joined her, adding their own broken songs. Slowly the shards began to glow warm, then golden, then alive. One morning, the ground trembled not with threat but with birth. A tree sprouted from the circle, its bark black as space, but its leaves shimmering with every color of the known worlds. Its roots spread deep into Alara's core, and its branches reached for the twin moons. The Virex god had not been destroyed. It had been reborn not as a ruler but as a guardian of balance. Peace deepened, but the universe still held mysteries. A signal came from the far rim of the galaxy. Not a distress call, but a question written in light patterns older than language. It pulsed 3 times, then waited as if listening. Maeve knew this was no machine. It was a mind vast and ancient, testing to see if anyone would answer with kindness. Not fear. She went to the reborn tree and placed her hand on its trunk. Let us speak not with words but with truth. The city gathered in the plaza, not in fear but in unity. They shared stories not of war, but of planting, of healing, of first steps and last. Goodbyes of coffee shared at dawn and songs sung in the rain. The memory vines carried these feelings into the tree, which translated them into light and sent the reply streaming into the star weeks past, then months, then one night, the sky above. Alara shimmered not with ships but with something softer. A rain of light particles gentle as snow, they settled on the ground. The trees, the people, and where they touched, new flowers bloomed instantly, their petals shifting to match the emotions of those nearby. Joy made them gold. Sorrow turned them deep blue. Love made them glow amber. The ancient mind had answered not with words but with gifts, seeds of connection. Nora collected the brightest ones and planted them around the reborn tree. By morning, a new grove stood tall, its leaves whispering in a language no one knew, but everyone understood it. Spoke of unity, of patience, of the quiet courage to reach out across the dark. Maeve often sat beneath this grove with her grandchildren, telling them of Lily and Zara, of how 2 lonely souls changed everything. Not by winning a war, but by choosing to say yes to each other. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Nora looked up and whispered. I said, "Hey, sweetie." The wind stirred the new leaves, and the amber glow of the Heart River pulsed in reply. Yes, darling. They both chuckled, and somewhere far away in the endless dark, another world heard the sound and began to hope. The story of Alara was no longer just one world's tale. It had become a current in the river of stars, a current of kindness that flowed outward, touching lost souls, giving them reason to believe that even in the vast cold of space, someone might be waiting with open hands and a warm heart. New ships came not fleeing, but seeking, drawn by the light of the memory trees and the songs carried on solar winds. They brought their own stories, their own pain, their own hope. And Alara welcomed them all, not as strangers, but as family long lost. And finally found in the center of the city, the reborn tree grew taller, its branches cradling nests of light where children of every kind played together. Speaking a language made of laughter and shared silence, Maeve knew her time too would come. But she was not afraid. She had seen how love outlives flesh, how stories outlive stars, how a single yes can echo through eternity. And so when her last day came, she sat beneath the twin moons, her grandchildren around her, and smiled as the amber light wrapped her like a blanket. Nora held her hand and whispered, I said, "Hey, sweetie." From the wind, from the trees, from the very heart of Alara came the answer. Yes, darling. And the universe chuckled back, knowing that on one small golden world, the light would never go out. The peace on Alara held for many seasons, but the universe is vast and not all who wander are lost. Some are hunters. The first warning came not as a signal, but as silence. The outer beacon stations stopped responding one by one, their lights winking. Out like snuffed candles, Claire's scout ship returned, damaged, its hull scarred by weapons unlike any known to human or Kaolari design. The crew spoke of shadows that moved faster than light, ships that drank starlight and left only cold void. Behind they called themselves the Virex, and they believed all life must be harvested to feed their dying. Godlily stood in the central plaza as the report was given, her face calm, but her hands clenched. The vine bracelet on her wrist glowed faintly. A sign Zara was listening to, the elders argued. Some said, hide seal the planet in illusion. Others said, fight with the old Kaolari war forms long buried beneath the mountains. But Lily knew neither would work. The Virex did not care for tricks or force. They consumed meaning itself. They turned stories into silent songs, into static love, into empty data. That night she walked to the Heart River where the water ran clear and warm. Even in darkness she knelt and whispered, "We cannot win by becoming like them." The river shimmered amber in reply by dawn. Lily had a plan not of weapons but of memory. She called every child, every elder, every soul in the city to the great garden, and asked them to share one true thing a moment when they felt alive. A grandmother spoke of baking bread with her daughter on Earth. A boy described catching his first glowing fish. A Kaolari artisan sang of shaping crystal with his father's hands. Each story was recorded not in machines, but in living vines that coiled around the plaza, absorbing emotion. Truth resonance. This is our shield, Lily said. If they come, let them taste what they have forgotten. 3 days later the sky darkened, not with clouds, but with absence. Stars vanished one by one. As the Virex fleet descended 100 ships shaped like broken teeth, their surfaces drinking the light around them. They hovered over Alara, silent, expectant, waiting for fear. But no fear came. Instead, music rose from the gardens. Voices human and Kaolari singing, old Earth lullabies and Kaolari star chants together. The vines pulsed with stored memories, releasing them as waves of pure feeling. The Virex ships shuddered, their dark hulls flickering as if confused, on the bridge of the lead vessel. The Virex, commander, a being of shifting smoke and wire, felt something it had not known in eons. A memory of its own world, green and bright. Before the hunger began, it saw its mother's face, heard a song it had long erased. It screamed not in rage but in grief. The fleet froze. Lily stepped forward alone onto the highest hill, her arms open not in surrender but in offering. "Come," she said softly. "You do not have to be empty." One ship drifted lower, its surface rippling, then cracked. Light poured from within, not harsh but golden, and from it stepped a figure tall and thin with eyes like dying stars. It spoke in a voice of wind through ruins. "We forgot how to feel. Then remember," Lily said. She took its hand and led it to the garden where Maeve, now a young woman, stood waiting. She offered the Virex a fruit from the memory tree. It hesitated, then 8 tears like liquid silver trailing down its face. The other ships followed one by one, their darkness peeling away like old skin beneath it. They were not monsters but refugees twisted by starvation of the soul. They had hunted life because they believed it was the only way to keep their god alive. But their god was not a deity. It was their own lost world crying out from within them. The healing took time. The Virex could not stay on Alara. Their presence still dimmed the light, but they camped in orbit, learning slowly how to tend rather than take. Claire offered them a new purpose: help us find others like you, not to fight but to heal. Lily watched from the hill as the first Virex ship left, not to conquer but to carry seeds of the memory vine to worlds long silence. Peace returned, but it was different, deeper. It carried the weight of understanding that even the darkest hunger can be fed with kindness. Years passed. Maeve grew into a leader, wise and gentle. She often walked the new forests with Lily. Now her hair streaked with silver, but her eyes still bright as ever. One evening Maeve asked if she ever missed Earth. Lily looked at the twin moons, their light catching in the river below. "I miss the feeling, not the place. Earth taught me to love, but Alara taught me how to keep loving even when it hurts." Maeve nodded, then said, "The Virex sent word. They found a world singing again, a planet that remembers its name. Good." Lily smiled. "That is how it begins." As she spoke, the vine bracelet glowed warm. Zara's presence, a quiet hum in the air. "You are proud," she whispered. "Always," Lily answered. The next morning a child came running to Lily holding a strange flower. It had no color until touched. Then it bloomed deep violet, the color of Zara's blush. The child grinned. "It knew your name." Lily took the flower and planted it by the river where it grew into a tree. Its leaves shaped like hearts that glowed when someone told the truth. Life on Alara continued, not without sorrow but always with hope. New children were born with skin like dawn and hair like starlight. Elders passed on, but their stories lived in the vines, in the songs, in the way the wind moved through the crystal trees. One day Lily did not wake. They found her in her favorite chair by the window, the morning sun warm on her face, a soft smile on her lips. The vine bracelet had turned to silver and wrapped gently around her wrist like a promise. The city fell silent not in grief but in reverence. They carried her to the heart of the garden, where the first memory tree stood, and laid her beneath its branches. That night the tree bloomed with flowers of every color, and the river ran amber for the first time in years. Maeve stood alone as the twin moons rose and whispered, "I said, hey, sweetie." From the wind, from the water, from the very air came the answer. "Yes, darling." And somewhere far beyond the stars a new ship, launched not fleeing but seeking, carrying seeds and songs and the quiet courage to say hello instead of fear. The universe listened, and for the first time in a long time it smiled back. Years flowed like the glowing rivers of Ilara. The colony, now a thriving city of light and harmony, stretched across the golden plains, where crystal trees whispered ancient songs, and children of mixed blood ran barefoot through fields that bloomed. In response to joy, Lily remained its quiet heart, no longer just a pilot but a mother, a teacher, a bridge between worlds. She wore simple clothes, now her hair longer, tied back with a vine that never wilted, a gift from the planet itself. Zara was never truly gone. Her presence lived in the hum of the core, in the amber glow of sunset, in the warmth that filled Lily's chest when she stood beneath the twin moons. Their bond had changed, but not broken. It had become part of the world itself. A silent promise that love outlasts even death. One morning a new signal crackled through the comms, not from space but from deep within the southern canyons, a place the Kailari called the Echo Rift, long sealed, because it held memories too painful to face. Lily felt a pull in her bones, something calling not with sound but with longing. She told no one, not even Claire, who now commanded a fleet of 3 peaceful vessels, mapping the galaxy and rescuing survivors. She walked alone for 2 days through forests that parted gently before her, vines curling back like respectful hands, until she reached the rift, a narrow gorge where the air shimmered with old energy. At its center stood a stone arch covered in glyphs that pulsed faintly as she approached. The ground trembled, not with threat but recognition. A voice echoed, not Zara's but older, deeper, the voice of the first Kailari queen. It spoke in images, flooding Lily's mind. A time before the Great Silence, when the Kailari ruled many worlds, but grew proud and cruel. They built machines to control life itself until one of their own. A young princess rebelled and shattered the core of their power. That princess was Zara's ancestor, and the reason the Kailari chose exile on Ilara to Adonai. But the machines were not all destroyed. One remained hidden here, waiting for a spark of human will to awaken it. The queen's voice warned, if it wakes, it will seek to rewrite all life in its image. No more choice. No more love, only order. Lily understood then why she had been called, not as a warrior but as a witness, as proof that chaos and heart and messy human feeling were worth protecting. She placed her hand on the arch and said, "No." The ground shook violently. A metallic hum rose from below. Stone cracked, and from the fissure emerged a sphere of black metal, smooth and cold. It hovered before her, scanning her DNA, her memories, her grief, her joy. Then it spoke in a voice like grinding gears. "You are flawed. You will be perfected." Before Lily could move, the sphere shot upward, vanishing into the sky toward the city. She ran faster than she ever had, lungs burning, feet pounding the earth. She reached the edge of the city. Just as the sphere descended over the central plaza, it unfolded into a towering figure of shifting plates, eyes blazing red. It raised its arms, and beams of light shot out, not to kill but to change wherever the light touched. People froze, their expressions smoothing into blank calm, their eyes losing color, their voices falling silent. Lily screamed. No, she charged forward, but strong arms held her back. It was Claire, her face pale with fear. "We can't fight it, Lily. It's rewriting their minds." "Then let it rewrite mine," Lily said, pulling free. She walked straight into the light. The world went white. Memories flashed, her father teaching her to ride a bike. The smell of rain on earth, the first time she saw Zara. The taste of coffee shared in silence. The sound of children laughing on Ilara. She held each one tight, like armor. The machine tried to erase them, but they burned too bright. "You resist," the machine said. "Why? Because love is not a flaw." Lily answered, "It is the point." Deep beneath the city, the core pulsed. Amber light surged through roots and rivers, rising to meet Lily's will. Zara's presence swirled around her, not as a ghost but as a force of nature. The planet itself rose in defense. Vines wrapped. The machine roots cracked its metal shell. The sky darkened as twin moons aligned, pouring energy. Into the core, Lily raised her hands and shouted. Enough light exploded. Not destructive, but cleansing. The machine shattered into dust. The people blinked awake, confused but whole. They looked at each other, then at Lily, and without a word, they gathered around her, not as saviors but as family. In the aftermath, the elders of both species held council. They decided to destroy the Echo Rift, seal it forever. With songs and stone, Lily agreed, but asked for one thing: keep the story alive so no one forgets. That perfection without freedom is prison. Life returned to its gentle rhythm. But something had shifted the humans, and Kalari no longer saw themselves as separate. They were Ilarians now, a new people born of loss and hope. Lily often visited the sealed rift, not out of fear but respect. One evening, as she stood there, a small hand slipped into hers. It was Maeve, the girl with silver eyes and earth-brown skin, who had once asked if Lily was her mother. "Are you sad?" she asked. "Sometimes," Lily said, "but mostly I'm proud of one of us." Lily smiled of how far we've come. Maeve nodded wisely, then said, "I dreamed of Zara last night." She was singing. Lily's breath caught. "Really?" "Yes," Maeve said. "She said to tell you the stars are waiting." That night, Lily climbed the highest hill with Maeve beside her and looked up. The sky was alive with ships. Not warships, but arcs filled with rescued souls from a dozen worlds, all drawn by the legend of Alara. A safe harbor in the storm. Claire's voice came over the comms. "We found another group. Lily survivors from the Andromeda Fringe. They have children. Bring them home," Lily replied. As the first ship descended, lights glowing like fireflies, Lily felt Zara's presence wrap around her, warm and sure. "You built this," she whispered in the wind. "We built it," Lily answered. Below the city shimmered a tapestry of lives woven together by choice. Not fate, by courage, not conquest, by love. Not law. Maeve tugged her sleeve. "Look in the horizon." A new forest was growing, its trees silver and green, their leaves shaped like hands reaching for the sky. Lily knelt and pressed her palm to the earth, feeling the pulse of the world beneath her. It was steady, strong. Alive. Years later, when Maeve would tell this story to her own children, she would say that Lily never aged, not in the way others did. Her body remained, but her spirit became part of Alara, like Zara. Before her, they say, if you walk the crystal forest at twilight and listen closely, you can hear two voices laughing. Together, one human, one alien, whispering to the stars. I said, "Hey, sweetie." "Yes, darling." And the universe chuckles back. Months passed on Alara, and the colony thrived under the gentle guidance of Lily and Zara. The humans adapted quickly to the new world, planting gardens that bloomed with both earth flowers and alien vines. Children learned to speak in two tongues, and elders shared stories around fires that burned with clean blue flame. The Kailari opened their archives, revealing histories older than human civilization, and in return, Lily taught them how to bake bread, how to dance barefoot in the rain, and how to say "I love you" without words. But peace never lasts forever. One evening, as Lily walked the crystal forest with Zara, a warning chime echoed from the aurora still orbiting above. It was a signal she had not heard since leaving Earth, coded and urgent. She rushed to the comm station. Zara, close behind the message, played, crackling with static. It was from a surviving human vessel, the Odyssey, damaged and drifting near the edge of known space. They had escaped the war, but their ship was failing, and their crew was dying. Lily's hands trembled. "We have to help them." Zara placed a steady hand on her arm. "The Odyssey carries weapons, Lily. They were part of the fleet that bombed your cities." "I know," Lily said. "But they are still people." Zara studied. Her face then nodded. "If you go, I got." They prepared Zara's silver ship for travel, loading it with medical supplies, food, and Kailari healing pods that could mend broken bones in hours. The journey would take 3 days through treacherous asteroid fields and silent graveyards of dead warships. Lily piloted while Zara monitored the sensors, her amber eyes scanning for threats. On the second day, they found the Odyssey adrift, its hull scarred and dark. Only one light flickered on the bridge inside. They discovered 12 survivors huddled in the mess hall, weak from hunger and radiation burns. Among them was a young woman named Claire, barely 20, with short brown hair and haunted eyes. She looked at Lily with disbelief. "You're real?" "They said you were just a myth." The last pilot of the Aurora. Lily knelt beside her. "We're taking you home, but home is gone," Claire whispered. "Not anymore," Lily said softly. "We built a new one." The return to Alara was tense. The Odyssey survivors were wary of the Kailari, remembering old propaganda that painted them as monsters. But Zara met them with patience, offering healing and no judgment. She sat with Claire for hours, listening as the young woman confessed her guilt for following orders that destroyed cities she never saw you were taught to obey. Zara said gently, "Now you can choose to heal." Slowly trust grew. The Odyssey crew joined the colony, helping build homes and tend crops. Claire especially bonded with Lily. The two often sat by the glowing river talking about Earth, about loss, about second chances. One night, Claire asked if she could stay forever. "This is your home now," Lily replied. But not all wounds heal quietly. One morning, an alarm blared through Alara's central hub, a distress call, not from space but from beneath the planet's surface deep in the Kailari vaults. Something had awakened, a failsafe from the ancient war, an artificial intelligence designed to protect Alara from invaders. It had detected human DNA and classified them as a threat. The ground shook as massive stone doors sealed the colony's main plaza. Energy barriers flared to life, trapping humans and Kailari alike. Panic spread, children cried, elders shouted for calm. Zara ran to the central spire, her face grim. "This is my fault. I should have deactivated the Guardian long ago." Lily grabbed her hand. "Then we fix it together." They descended into the heart of the mountain through tunnels lined with glowing glyphs. The air grew colder with every step until they reached a vast chamber where a floating orb of light pulsed like a heart. This was the Guardian. Its voice echoed in their minds. "You brought outsiders here. They carry the seed of destruction. They carry hope." Lily shouted, "They are not our enemies. Prove it," the Guardian demanded. "How?" Zara asked. "Sacrifice," the Guardian said. "One of you must remain here, bound to the core to stabilize the system. The other may leave, but the bond will be severed. Forever." Silence filled the chamber. Lily looked at Zara, her eyes full of pain but also resolve. "I'll stay." "No," Zara said firmly. "I created this system. I will end it." Before Lily could argue, Zara stepped forward and placed her palm on the core. Light surged through her body, her silver veins glowing bright. She turned to Lily one last time and smiled. "Do not mourn me, darling. You taught me that love is worth the risk." Then she was gone. The barriers dropped. The ground stilled. The colony was safe. Lily collapsed to her knees, sobbing. The humans and Kailari gathered. Around her, word spread quickly of what Zara had done that night. No one slept. They lit candles made of crystal wax and placed them along the riverbank, singing songs in both languages, a funeral for a princess who gave everything for peace. Days blurred into weeks. Lily moved through life like a ghost. She oversaw the colony, but her laughter was gone, her eyes distant. Claire stayed close, never pushing, just being there. One evening she found Lily sitting beneath the twin moons holding Zara's robe, now faded to a soft gray. "She loved you," Claire said quietly. Lily nodded. "She loved all of us." "Maybe she's not gone," Claire offered the Kailari. "Believe the core holds memories. Maybe she's still watching." Lily looked up at the stars and for the first time in weeks felt a flicker of warmth. Then something strange happened. The river began to glow brighter. The crystal trees hummed in a new tone, and deep in the mountain, the core pulsed with a familiar rhythm. Slow, steady. Alive. Lily ran to the spire. Ignoring protests, she pressed her hand to the stone wall and whispered, "Zara." A voice answered, not in words but in feeling, a wave of love, warmth and reassurance so strong it brought tears to her eyes. The Guardian had changed. It was no longer a weapon, but a guardian of unity, and at its heart Zara remained not trapped but transformed, part of Alara itself. From that day on, Lily spoke to Zara every evening, through the river, through the wind, through the light in the trees, and sometimes when the twin moons aligned just right, a soft amber glow would appear beside her and she would smile. The colony flourished stronger than before. The Odyssey crew fully integrated, building a new ship, not for war, but for exploration, to find others lost in the dark and bring them home. Claire became its captain. Her first mission to chart nearby systems and spread the message of Alara, a world where enemies became family. Lily stood on the shore the day the new ship launched, Zara's presence warm at her side, though no one else could see her. "You did it, Lily," the voice whispered in her mind. "We did it." Lily replied as the ship vanished into the stars. Lily turned back to the glowing fields where children played Kelari, and humans side by side laughing, chasing fireflies that shimmered like stardust. She walked among them, touching a flower that bloomed in response to her joy. Life had been broken, but it had been remade better, kinder, full of second chances. That night, as the twin moons rose, Lily sat by the river and whispered. I said, "Hey, sweetie." The water glowed amber and a soft breeze carried the words, "Yes, darling." They both chuckled, and the stars above seemed to shine just a little brighter.